Okay, part 2 of the crochet. First of all, I want to show you, like for instance, you got a whole line of beads on there, and by accident you put 2 silver beads next to each other, or 2 black beads, or something is wrong. I want to show you how to get rid of that bead without having to take everything out. So you just take that bead, pull that up, and make sure that whether you're using cotton or yarn, that you got that real tight, wrapping that around the bead. And then on the side where the yarn is not, you just cut that through. And you might need 2 hands to do that, but it can be done because I did it before. There. And if all is correct, my yarn is not damaged, and I got rid of a bead that might be in the middle of a long line of beads. Okay, and that's actually goes easier and is less hard to do with size 8 beads. But anyway, I'm at the end here. I cut up a bead. Oh, what a waste of money. But anyway, I'm at the end pretty much. I have 2 more beads to go, and I want to show you what you do. Oh, and if you didn't put enough beads on here, I suggest you leave, if you did a series of 3 colors, I suggest you leave 3 beads on here, because after that you need to find, you need to wrap off a new piece of yarn from your full pack, and you need to start adding beads at the end of this. So leave 3 so you don't so you got the right sequence when you put them on again. So that was black, silver, white. So if I started here, I would have to put on black, silver, white. And as I started putting them on, I started to white, silver, black, if you remember correctly. So you got to make sure that you don't continue with the same sequence at the end of the thread as you did at the beginning of the thread. So we got 2 more. Dropping my black down. Going in here. It's already on that side. Holding that. Pulling that through. And I got a silver. Pushing the bead over to the other side. Dropping that down. Holding that down. And pulling that through. And the way you end is you just pull it through like that, and you cut it off. And now you can get your yarn out. And it's better that you have leftover yarn than that your necklace or your bracelet is too short. So, and if you use cotton and yarn, it doesn't have to be that expensive. I bought that yarn actually on sale. It was €1 for a whole yarn thingy there. So that was pretty cool. So now how to tie up the ends. First I'm going to take this yarn. I'm going to put it on a wide-eyed needle. And you can see where that started or ended. I'm going to put that into the white. Pull that through. And go through a couple of whites. And I found out it's even better if you just go in between the yarn and just try to come up somewhere else before you cut that off. And that's not easy, but see if you can do it. So just go dive in there. There, and then cut off your yarn. Don't go too far away from the white though. So, got that in there, got the yarn all the way on the bottom of your piece. And the next thing, I got a cotton in a similar color. It's not exactly the same, but it's a similar color. So what I did was I cut off a piece. I'm going to put that on the wide-eye needle again. And I'm going to go into one of the beads. I'm going to pull that through, not all the way, But I'm just going to pull that through so I can still work this thread away. And I'm going to go into the next bead next to that, from the top down, going up into silver again. And I'm not pulling that too tight, as you can see. I just want them to lay next to each other later on. So that's the bottom. If you don't pull them too tight, you gotta understand which one is the bottom. You gotta pull them straight and go down in that white again. And then the next we're gonna pick up the black from the bottom. Gonna go back into the white, into the black, and as I said, don't pull too tight because you don't want to pull everything out of proportion. From the top into the silver, up in the black again, down into silver, and gonna go all the way around like that, and then it's white again. And don't make the mistake of going into the next silver here. White one is next. And you're just pulling those kind of sort of together, so everything is going somewhat out of proportion, but that's okay. I already did it here, and it's not really disturbing, is it? It looks pretty good. I can make it look better, and if you crochet much tighter than I did, then it will even look even better. So going down in that silver again, up into white, gotta get the black one, into the white, into the black one, and up into silver again. And down in black, up in the silver, next I got some size 8 black beads, some white, also size 8, and I'm going to pick up 2 black, 1 white, and 2 black, and I'm going to go into the white, coming out of the silver, going into the white, like that, going up in the black, adding 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 again, going down into silver, going up in the white, picking up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 again, 5 again, going down in the black, and then we're all the way around, so we go up into silver, and the 2 black seed beads all the way up, into the white seed bead. Add a white seed bead to your needle, next white seed bead, Add a white seed bead to your needle, go into the next white seed bead, add a white seed bead to your needle, and into the next white seed bead. Now you need a 6mm pearl, a head pin, and your round nose pliers. This is flat, and normally I would put a bead on there, but right now I don't want that. I want this to be as close to that pearl as possible. Put a white seed bead on there. And with my flat nose pliers, I'm going to turn that a quarter. And this time, I'm not going to get very close to my finger. I'm just going to go over here somewhere. So normally I would do this, but now I'm going to stay over here. Because this is a heavy necklace, I want to make sure that my loop is big enough to hold everything. And instead of turning about here, I'm going to use the bigger side to make a bigger loop. So 1 and 2, and closing that up. And straightening it out if I have to, and closing that up some more if I have to. And we got a pretty good loop. Now we open this up a little bit so we can put our pearl in there and tighten that up again. And let that white seed bead come out, okay? Make sure it's not underneath the other white seed beads. And you're just going to go around a couple of times. Carefully, and you can pull tight later. There, I've got 2, and you can pull tight. Make sure that you go all the way around, which means you need 6. I did 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And sometimes it will happen that you will pull your wide-eyed needle broken. Happened to me last night. Nothing you can do about it, but pick up a new wide-eyed needle. And I'm going to do 1 more. So I got 7, so I know that I went all the way around. Going down in the black. Going into the black. And I'm going to go into 1 black, and then I'm just going to go through my yarn and just come out like that. And cut that off. And now I'm going to take this one, get the cutting off of this one. And put that one in my yarn. I'm coming out of the silver, I'm going into the silver, I'm just going to push it down out of the way. And you can push this as far in as you like. If you don't feel secure after it coming up after one try, right here for instance, then just push it in again. If you want it further away. Push it in again on the same spot though. There. And then you can cut that off. And if you see some extensive yarn come out, cut it off. There, and that's how I do it. No glue, people. Now we just need to add a clasp. And I don't think it's disturbing. I think it's logical. I don't mind the way it looks. You know, you may be able to make it look a little bit prettier, but I tried to do the looping with the same yarn, and that didn't look good at all. Of course, you can use Fireline, maybe. If you got like an all-white piece, just use Fireline and it will look even better. So, all you have to do is add the clasp. I don't think I have to explain that, do I? Anyway, what I did want to explain was, this was the needle that I used for this piece, and it really is gorgeous. I have to say, it's a beautiful necklace, and it's a perfect size. And now I used this needle. Okay, this is 1 millimeters, and I used my cotton 1 millimeters, and I made this. Now I want to show you something, because Beadie tells you about not to use the bigger seed beads because they're not the same size, and she's right. You can see that. You can see that my blacks are definitely smaller than my silver and my white is even smaller than my silver. So these are different sizes, even though they're all size 6. The difference in size is noticeable, but when you get the really big part on there, you can see there's more space between the black ones. You notice that all my silvers are lined up perfectly. My whites have a little bit of space here and there, and then my blacks have more space in between them. So, and I show you that like that, you know. So, but if you use size 8, it's gonna be absolutely gorgeous and looking perfect. See how great that looks? So, once you get it under control, if you have a hard time getting it under control, I would say make the necklace. Use the size 6 anyway, and once you got it under control, start using the size 8 seed beads, or maybe even the size 11 seed beads. I don't know how brave you are, but this is also, it works exactly the same way, but I want to show you anyway. So, you got the loop. I gotta make sure that you don't get that tied up. Let me get everything out of the way. Okay. Now, the good thing about this stuff is you can actually hold it up. Put that in there first. I got a red bead that I need to do. And it works the same. You move that over, and the red bead will slide down as to where the yarn, you know, didn't do that for me. I had to push them down, and I pull them through right now, through both. So that's the fun about this one, is it, you know, your beads will slide down. And I'm thinking, like, how gorgeous would this be if you had like 2 or 3 millimeter round beads and do this on Fireline. Now I'm gonna end up this the same way as I did this one, only I'll probably be needing a smaller bead in there. There's a 6 millimeter pearl in here, so there'll probably be a 4 millimeter pearl on here, or maybe just a size 6 seed bead if the pearl seems too big. So that's the way I would do it. And I really, really love this bracelet. Another thing that I wanted to tell you is, because you never know how much you need, okay? So that little piece that I did yesterday, these are the beads that were on there. I just pulled that whole thing out and checked how many beads were on there. So when I saw that that was like about this much, I just took this part where I measured it, and I did this part. I've set up everything again. I set up this size 6 times. And then it turned out I was still a little bit short, so I had to add another couple of beads on the end of my yarn. But, you know, that was a good way to do it. Instead of measuring meters, because I have no idea how many this would be, then this was a good size to say, okay, I need this about 6 times. And then I started setting up on the yarn and just did this amount of size, or this size, I didn't even count the amount, this size 6 times. So, tips and tricks. I think I got it covered. I hope to see you guys next time, and maybe I can start figuring out on how to make patterns, because it would be fun to make these with different kind of patterns. Of course, you don't want to be doing those 3-row colors forever, right? Okay, well guys, see you next time. Bye bye.